Hey, good to have you back. I love the comments that you guys are leaving. It's a nice little community. Small community, but it's gonna get bigger. I think that I have enough energy to make that happen. I'm just so relieved, happy, at peace. I'm not gonna say that it's the last piece of information that I needed, but I found out something else about myself. I mean, it's been my whole life like this. Sign after sign, vision, feelings, things like this. And I just keep thinking, it's the past kind of comes up as comparison, the contrast. And it's like to grow up in a place like, basically, let me get to the point. It's like, get to it already. The femininity that I told you about, I always had this thing about me that that is that my feminine ways and things like that. And I was wondering, or I attributed it to a past life. It's just like it's there for a reason, picking up from where you left off and whatnot. And having those visions when I would look up to the sky, because there was this need to look up to the sky, and to my eyes, like little, it was like sonar or radar, or I don't know, it was like these two beams that were scanning to find Orion. And my eyes always diverted to the belt, because without the belt it's not Orion, it's something else. That's exactly what I got when I got those visions of seeing thousands of ships, then seeing myself in a big room with all these kids. And just for me to always look up to the sky and look for that belt, because Mintakan, it's in the belt. It's the third star to the right. But it's no longer there anymore. And this morning I just burst out into tears, because this thing about being home, and then the dream, I told you about the dreams that I used to have, that I was dreaming that I'm running and looking for home, and to know that home, I'll never get there. There's no home to go to. That's the home I'm looking for. Because again, these things get recorded into the soul, into the spirit, but you can't deny it. And as I mentioned in my last video, it's like, I know I said that nobody really looks to their spirit, but what I meant is that the outside world really doesn't care what is happening to your spirit, or what your spirit wants. That's basically what I was trying to say. That it's like, no, we don't want to hear that, because we don't know, you may be lying, but the things of the spirit as the things of truth, that's where truth is, as I mentioned. So to omit from it just realizing that Mintakan was destroyed because of the Orion Wars. And what happened in the Orion Wars? Well, there was, again, it's these thirsty people, you know, that want power, basically. And basically these were the reptilians. They just want to take. That's their function. That's what they do. And in Mintakan, being that it was such a joyous, peaceful world, you know why? Because everybody there was in the basically feminine. So being a Mintakan starseed, as I heard it being called, again, well, that explains everything. That's why I've been telling you about these things. And realizing that I was growing up in a world where I was being forced to live against my nature, my natural tendencies, my natural drives, forcing me to be in this thing. And my spirit, it originates from, or spend some time there. There's a big influence there. And this is why I am the way I am. It's like everything just came to a final, you know, like, I don't know if it's the final, I hope it's the final, but it was this last link in that chain. Because I was trying to explain that too, because like, okay, I was saying, if I'm Mintakan and I'm a light worker, I mean, I get that because I've been doing that all my life. And then I was like, well, what about this feminine thing? And there it is. Because that's also a part of being Mintakan. You know, that we were so in our femininity. I mean, it was all, and this is, I don't know if you heard me speak before about me seeking that feminine energy, feminine symbols, femininity, beauty, because that's what we did in Mintakan. It was nothing but just, I mean, swim around if you, and also, I mean, this whole mermaid thing, the mermaid legend grew from there. I mean, we as people had to leave that planet because, or basically, we have to leave because of war. And basically that this rage sometimes that I feel within me from basically the colonizing scene that has plagued this planet for the last, I don't know, 2,000 years, maybe longer. This is why I get the way I get. That also explains that. So see, once you find out your origin, or find out who you truly are, because you're in tune with divinity, because divinity wants to let you know these things. It's like, look, you form a huge part of this whole, you know, canvas in which we'll have to do a few strokes, you know, so we can make this whole picture look beautiful, so it works. So people need to know exactly, people get, you know, man, know thyself, as it was once said. Know thyself. Because it's the only way that you can explain who you are. It's the only reason, or the only way you can find peace within you. I mean, or at least I get some form of peace. It's like, oh, okay, well that's taken care of. That explains a lot, you know. And then as I feel now, as I feel so charged up to go forward, because it's like, okay, well that explains everything then. I mean, to have this rage, you know, of because I've had visions of being in a big empty field. Well, not empty field, because there's all these dead people around, and these dead people look like me. They have brown skin, they don't have as much clothing as the people attacking us, and I could just see them riding away, and everybody's dead, and I'm the one. I don't know if I'm a survivor, but I can see them ride away, and I'm just left with so much rage. Like, that was so unfair. Why did you do that? Why did you come and take everything from us and obliterate us? I mean, what's the point? Like, who are you to do that? Because it was done to me back in Mintakan as well. Like, it's this thing that just keeps repeating, and growing up Mexican, I don't know if this was from the Spanish to the Mexica, or this was something that happened me as a Native American, but in essence, originally there were all these tribes, like 7 or maybe 12, I don't recall exactly, it could have been 7. But then we had visitors that, you could say that they were also reptilians. I mean, it goes with the nature, they're a sickness. They just like to take. They have absolutely no empathy, and that kind of mirrors what is happening in today's times. So me having lived this situation, now it seems like in so many generations, so many times, so many different lifetimes, to go from Mintakan and being overtaken by this very masculinized, overtaking, colonizing reptilians. You see, because I was living in a very feminine planet. We got overtaken right away. I mean, like, we had no defense against any of that because we didn't practice that. So you see why we're light workers? Because all we know is goodness. We can't understand evil. And sometimes it's to our own detriment, and a lot of the times we are full victim of people who take advantage of us or want to, overrun us. That happened in my whole freaking life. This is why I keep telling you this story, because this is why I've been telling you this story, because it explains a lot of that happens in a person's life. Again, you as a spirit, you are encased in this body, and now you have to live this lifetime that is full of your karma, and you have to pay, and also again your dharma as you keep evolving and changing and living through your karma and things like that. Just whatever price you have to pay, right? I mean, the point is to move on. You can't keep lingering in the same level again. And just picture a video game. I mean, what are you gonna do? Just always in level 1, I mean, you gotta move up. You gotta go. If that is if you want to keep playing the game, or if you want to keep seeing new environments, or at least get some change. So evolution is always like, come on, get a move on, pushing you. It's like, okay, I guess I have to. And with me, I mean, what is done, change or life, or I just keep looking back and looking at all the signs and the symbols and the visions, and my intuition was right all along. My visions were right all along. I was right. They were wrong. They were all wrong. They were trying to make me wrong as well. So if that's happening to you, run. Start living your life like you want to live it. Like you feel, like your spirit is telling you to live it. Because it doesn't get better by living the way it is prescribed. Like now I'm seeing my surroundings and the people around, around me a whole lot different. Because I'm like, oh, no wonder. And you wanted to get accepted by all these people? Because sometimes there was this insecurity about being liked by my people, and so I would let any scumbag, get close to me. You know what I mean? Like, because I heard stories of Bruce Lee or Pedro Infante that were very humble guys, and they talk to anybody and this and that. It's like, well, so I wanted to be the same way, but and a lot of it was to kind of like be accepted, feel accepted by the people around me, but in essence sometimes you just don't click, and you just don't click because there's a reason why you don't click. And my whole life can be explained just by vibrational rates. The concept of vibrational rates is like, these people don't click with you because you're up here, and these people are up here. And this is not something about being better, and it's like, no, it's just, you're just seeing different things, receiving different signals, having a different kind of life. And these people down here are saying, what are you doing up there in the clouds? Get back down here where you belong, or where we all are. What are you too good to be with us, and so on and so forth. But now I look at those episodes and go, well, that explains everything. That explains everything in my life. And that's why I started speaking about this topic, about feeling this peace, or this so, okay, well, that explains so much, that including my femininity and my need to have beauty around me, and my lack of, I don't know, understanding of evil and bad intentions, and how I don't necessarily think that that's a good way to go, and why I'm always trying to uplift everybody else around me. Like I used to always say to people, and when I was a trainer, because they would tell me, oh, I love the way you talk. They would say that, and it's like, you get me all motivated and inspired, and like I don't never leave in a bad mood, and I'm like, okay, that's good, because I would hate to bring you down. Like I would really hate myself. It's like, oh man, I just made that guy feel badly, or I just I told him something negative and got him into a bad mood, and now like I did that. Like I can't do that. That is against that code. And when you find out about my origin, you go, oh well, that explains everything. It's that the ideas are foreign to me. I mean, I'm familiar with it now because I have lived on this planet for so long, that now it's like, okay, now I know what's happening. But that's a whole life, right? Almost 50 years, being mishandled and manhandled, how, just completely utterly destroyed by this society around me because I couldn't fit in, and I was made to think and feel that I was the one who was broken. It's like, no, motherfucker, it's you. Like, bitch, I've been through this lifetimes. It's just getting started. You don't even understand what a spirit is, or what the big picture is. And that was always an emphasis in my life, like having that code, feeling the way I felt, being who I was. Like I said, I was always forced to fight, and I was like, okay, I don't want to. It was really hard to be a boy, and I can say that now because now I'm at peace with myself. I mean, hell, my origin, I could have been a mermaid, and that explains everything in my life. I mean, how else can you get around in the water world, right? Probably had fins and scales and things like that, but and again, the legend of the mermaid comes from there, and that's what we did. We sung, we swam. It sounds like I'm about to make a rhyme, but it was to beautify. Beauty was a chore, but it wasn't like a chore. It was our mission to beautify everything. And this is what I always have against people who are narcissistic and people who are domineering, again, because again, remember that history in Orion. I always have a problem with these people, and I've always had them in my life. I mean, I was raised by them. Think about the conflict there of natures, of like the clash of cultures, basically. That my predilections and my natural tendencies were one, and it's like, no, that's weird, no, and but again, I can look back at me and remember pictures. I was always a beautiful kid, and a lot of ladies. One time I went and asked, it was a hospital. I went with my mom, and I went to information, and I excuse me, ma'am. I said, "Sí, mija." I'm a boy. Because I had a Prince haircut. It was the 80s, right? Just think about any 80s kid. They had the Prince haircut. So a lot of people mistook me as a girl, and I'm sure my parents hated that stuff. And as I was, again, being a Mintakan star seed or spirit, that was in my nature, and I was the people around me that couldn't understand it, and I was forced to live a life that was contrary to my nature. I mean, I just think of the resistance. I mean, because it was hellish. And while I was a husband of a narcissistic person and had the same tendencies, and I am so sure she could have been a reptilian as well. I swear I had a feeling. Because I saw some weird crap. And one time I woke up and there was a shadow entity at the end of the bed. And as soon as it saw me, I freaked out. I started pushing myself back to get away from it. And it ran into the closet. And in the closet there was a freaking doll that I hated. It was her aunt's. It was those creepy porcelain dolls, back, which ones I'm talking about. And it went in there. And through tarot, I found out so much weird shit. But again, to understand that someone like that was stopping me from my purpose, literally stopping me for over 20 years, I always felt that the resistance. But being a Mintakan, I'm open, and I'm like, we can make this work, and putting this person on a pedestal, because that's the kind of uplifter I was. I thought we were doing this thing together, raising two girls. That I was as a feminine energy, as a feminine spirit, dude, I was in heaven. But she saw things differently. Again, she was about keeping control and having everybody under her domain. So she started with the brainwashing, the gaslighting, and basically I couldn't say anything because it was laughable to them. If you remember that part in American Beauty where Kevin Spacey's talking about his daughter and his wife, and he said they both think I'm an idiot. That was the sense that I got from these three people in my life that I put on a pedestal, because that's my inherent tendency. That is so natural to me, to be nurturing, to be motherly, to be loving, to bring beauty and light to a situation. And what I got was, I got laughed at, I got ridiculed, I got, again, the because it was a struggle also for me, because you have to remember that with all this femininity inside me, it was always manifesting in everything I was doing, but I was supposed to be this husband, I was supposed to be this father. And I held it together, and as a martial artist, it was always about building this stronger guy, again, getting more away from my feminine. So that was another thing, that is like I was trying to peel myself away from my naturalness, but to become this thing that I was expected to be. This is what I became. I injured my whole body. My face got burned for being out there at the beach and going, men don't wear sunscreen. Little stupid crap like that I would say to myself because, oh, men are supposed to be beautiful. And I literally mutilated my face through, getting punched in the face because I was like, yeah, I want to get used to getting punched. And I would just sit there and just take punches, just to build callus. I used to call it, build, to build callus, to make my face into a callus, basically. It's like, no, because men are supposed to be beautiful. When beauty is just in me. I'm not saying I'm this gorgeous thing. I'm just saying that it's like what I represent because it's where I come from. It's what I do. So I never understood how people who distort everything, like the airways with their voice, you know what I'm talking about. I am just the biggest asshole in the whole wide world, and I'm telling everybody that I'm not. Always explaining away everything. It's like if people can't see it at first glance, that you don't got it. You don't got it. But it's all this extra activity. This, you can see there's a lot of work into what these people do, trying to keep everybody under the impression that they're the ones in control, or they're the ones that are, that they can do it all. And again, I was raised and married into, with people that show this demeanor, this selfish demeanor. It is in my nature to be good. It is against my code to do harm. It is my obligation to bring beauty and light into things. And I was peeled from that in the first 50 years of my life, basically. I was just like trying to put a square peg into a circle one, or however you want to put it. I was a circle one, basically, because, hello. So, I'm sure that this is why also martial arts came so easy to me, because again, I had that range of, showing colonizer what's what. Man, I have issues with that one because I've lived it for so many lifetimes. But yeah, I think that's also part of the why, again, I was trying to stay away from femininity, because I always thought if I give in to that, then I'm not gonna be strong enough in case one of these mother floppers end up showing up, because they're around. This basically, we're talking about toxic masculinity, and now I honestly, this is why I always love working out on my own, training by myself, but now I don't even feel a need for it, because I spent so many years doing it, and that the need to master anybody else it wasn't there in the first place. It was to master myself, but also to kind of peel me away from my own feminine traits, but build this big callus of a man. It was such a struggle, and the expectations, to be this dude that can do it all, it's it drives men crazy, honestly. I mean, right after my divorce and I moved out, I heard this story of this guy who had just been divorced and had been living out of, away from his family. Ended up walking in, he was a teacher or something like that. He walked into Disneyland and shot himself. He just killed himself in front of all those people, because of what he was going through, and hearing stories of men who have lost their families, because I'm not gonna go into that. That's too long of a story, but it's built into the culture now, and the man gets screwed over big time, especially those men who care, because I'm of the belief that you have some good guys running around out there because they come from broken homes, and so when you come from a broken home, you want to not have a broken home. You want to mend things. You want to make things better for the next generation. And but if you're the only one with those plans and your mate is not into it, has other plans in mind, well, it don't work. So that's what happened with me. But the worst part was the manipulation, the gaslighting, and the campaign of dragging my name through the muck. My father did that in my family. This is why the rest of my family see me like this wild animal. It's like, oh, he's so, he's not like us. My father went on a campaign. My brother went on a campaign. My ex went on a campaign. Obviously, this is why I don't have my daughters with me. And coming to find out that maybe they weren't even my daughters. Now when I look back, I mean, they don't even look like me. So I was taken advantage. Mintakan. Too nice. And people take advantage. You see why it tells you about Jesus? He could, he was killed because people missed the point. People miss what they had around. People misunderstood his intentions, his origins, his beliefs, his abilities. Just misjudged them, and punished them for it, for their own crazy thoughts, crazy assumptions. I've been punished for the crazy assumptions of other people too. And this is why I make these videos. To let you know that it's not you. That some people just are here again. It's part of your karma. I mean, because think about it now. I can look back and just go, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why I keep going through these things, so I mean, think about generations and lifetimes of the same situation. It's obviously to break it, but just as I'm giving you information, I'm receiving information, and it's been like this my whole lifetime, getting all this information about my origin and who I am and what I'm here to do. And then in the last few weeks, it's just been in going through all these situations that are pulling me back to the old ways and the way I was raised, and then the light calling me this way, and I'm just like trying to stay strong and trying to pull up towards the light, Like I mentioned, Santiago got the crap beat out of him right before he found his treasure. So I'm going through it, but I'm still doing but now I'm doing this with renewed energy. It's like this refocus, because it's like, look, dude, you've been going through this your whole life. It's been this journey of finding yourself, because you had this yearning, you had this itch that you had to scratch. You had to find out why you felt the way you felt. And when I end up finding out, I end up realizing I've been practicing who I am my whole life. I've been going through it my whole life. And through my whole life, they've been there. They've been there to give me signs, to tell me, look up to the sky, look, this is people of a higher dimension, maybe my future self, my bigger self. I know the angels, basically. I call them the angels. Because They're the ones delivering all of it. And how can I get back into a fear mode, into a worry state, into a hateful and rageful state, if I know they're there, and if I know that they've been there every step of the way? And to go back is pretty much idiotic, basically, because it's like, look, dude, we've been doing this, giving you signs and everything. It's this way, so just go this way. You know what? I mean, why go? I mean, there's no point of going back, right? So that's why I'm speaking to you about this refocus, you know. But it's reaffirming that they've been the signs, the symbols, and like I was telling you in the last video, you know, that Santiago saying to, you know, speaking to the spirit of Melchizedek, saying, hey, you know, you knew all along. This is why you were helping me. This is why you did what you did. I'm having that feeling. It's like this, you guys, from the visions, everything's like, I was right. The visions, what I understood from the visions, from the signs, I was right. It's just such a sense of completion, of peace. And I'm only telling you this because, like I mentioned before, what they told you about you, it's not the truth. Again, this is just, people love to slap a tag on people and just like, okay, here, go away. Now make a life for yourself with the wrong identity. Can you picture a chicken with his head cut off, running around blind? It's criminal. Which makes me feel like, who's running things, you know, like, oh God, it's these people, you know, this toxic people. That's the other side, you know, that's the side I don't deal in. I don't, you know, I can't understand that side, but I know how to keep them away, stay away, and I know when they're coming. I can sense them. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys. I mean, because I'm still I've been speaking for all this time, but I feel speechless, you know, when I contemplate all of it. Again, with the explaining who I live with, explaining the kind of person she was, explaining that's how my father was, that's how my grandmother was. People who just brought ugliness. They brought ugliness to everything. And it's like the kind of people, oh man, here they come. You get that feeling like, oh no, you know that this person is just gonna come and raise hell. That's who they were. And this is who I live with. Against, basically, this, all of that. They represent everything that is not my nature. They're all against me, like they're on the other side of my nature. Like it was unnatural for me to be around them. But I got to experience them because I had to go through the experience of knowing what I have gone through in the past, in other lifetimes, you know, my origin, and it basically it fulfilled its purpose, you know. As dark as it was, it brought enlightenment. See, this is why I get these moments where I'm just speechless, because it's like, oh my God, I get guys, I'm here for you. I'm here for all of us to keep this whole show going, because it is only the light that keeps it going. You have to remember that this light that illuminates this whole situation, this whole picturesque environment that you find yourself in, an environment that supports you, an environment that wants you thriving, an environment that wants you doing what you're meant to do, basically you being your most natural self. I mean, why else would you be forced to be doing something so unnatural? right? That was what I was raised with. Just always forcing, it's like I learned the way of force there, and then I learned that it was never for me. Wu Wei, go with the flow, be like a piece of algae, in the ocean, just being taken by nature itself. Nature, your naturalness will bring what you need to you, and for it to not be emphasized on this plane, on this existence, in this society. In my book, it's criminal. It goes against the advancement of the universe, its progression. It's attempting against, it's as I used to always say, it's an attack against the throne. Because it is. It's going against everything that is good. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here before I start crying. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not gonna cry about that. But I do have my moments. Be cool, be awesome. Be light. Talk to you later.